Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, and today we are going to go through what kind of questions we're going to ask ChatGPT and kind of like some practical use case scenarios. There's a lot that's been happening, there's a lot of changes, and this is the fifth video in our series, I believe. So we are just going to jump right into it. So the best way to think about ChatGPT, and we've already gone through this in the previous videos, is it's a compromised or like a very updated version of the internet, in the sense that it has been trained on a large number of data sets from the past, and there is a cutoff point. So the cutoff point currently for the version that we are in, which is we are currently in 2025 March, so the cutoff point currently is June of 2024. So that means that most of the data that it has been trained on is from June 2024 backwards. So that's what really it has been trained on. So it does not necessarily have a lot of knowledge on what happens after that, unless it has access to the internet. So we're just going to go through a couple of questions, a couple of ways that you can use it. So because like the question is, what kind of question can I use ChatGPT for? So we're going to go through a couple of those ones. So like I said, it's really good to have that in mind. It's ChatGPT is a compressed, slightly outdated version of the internet, so like a very old zip file. It has a knowledge cutoff point, which we have said it is June of 2024. So it's ready to be aware of which model of ChatGPT you're using. So currently I am using ChatGPT 4.0, which you can check here from this drop down. So on the top left of our screen, so we have the sidebar. So this is where your previous chats are. And after that, we can search for a chat there. And then we have the pencil icon, which when you click on it, it's going to open a new chat. And then next to it, we have ChatGPT, which when you click on it, it has the models here. So currently I'm using the free version, but when you chat, so for example, what is the capital of Kenya? So I'm just going to click on switch model. So here, so we have auto, so this is just going to go to any model. And then we have ChatGPT 4.0, so this is the best for most tasks. And then we have O3 mini, so this is for advanced reasoning. We're going to come to that in another video. And we have ChatGPT 4.0 mini for everyday tasks. And then now we have like search web. So this is where you can like switch models. But so if you have the paid model, you are going to come to ChatGPT here on the top left, click on it, and then the models are going to be listed here, and this is where you're going to choose which one you want. So for the free version, you have the option to, after you've already submitted your prompt, you can pick from here. And then for the beginners, ChatGPT is very versatile, so just learn to ask questions. It's a dialogue thing. When you ask it a question and you do not understand, please share that you don't understand, share why you don't understand. It will be able to like break it down into simpler forms. The other really important aspect to check with ChatGPT is that there's a context window, and in the current context window that we have for the free version is around 4,000 tokens, which when you break it down is around 3,000 words. So what that means that when you're chatting with ChatGPT, the number of words that you can use in that chat interface is going to be around 3,000. But if you have the paid version, it goes to almost 128,000 words. So it kind of like varies, but that's something just kind of like to note. So you cannot have a very long form conversation with the ChatGPT. You'll have to start a new task, because it will get to a point where it will not be able to continue, or the memory is not going to be very good. So always have that in mind. Be very clear with what you want, so that you do not necessarily have to close that context window. Okay, so the first question type that we are going to go through is going to be knowledge-based questions. So this is a type of question where we are asking ChatGPT to kind of like give us facts, explanations, or summaries on information that is very well established. So for example, whether it's going to be science-based in terms of example like gravity, what is the theory of relativity, explain it to me like I'm 5. So things that have already been established, but you do not necessarily understand. So knowledge-based questions, that is something that you can ask ChatGPT for. So I have a couple of examples. So for example, we have, what is the capital city of France? So I'm just going to copy that. So what is the capital city of France? So here we're getting Paris. And these are basically questions that experts know, or like things that we have already established as a society, as a species, to be real. So things like that, and you don't necessarily understand, you can ask ChatGPT for. So these are the knowledge-based questions. I have a couple more examples. So we have, like, example, explain photosynthesis, summarize the plot of Hamlet, or explain the theory of relativity. So there are different ways that you can explain this. So for example, here, explain the theory of relativity, like I'm 5. So I'm going to copy that. So I'm going to paste that, explain the theory of relativity in simple terms. So here it's going to give me a breakdown of that explanation, and then I'm going to read it. If I don't understand, I can tell it why I don't really understand, and it's going to break it down further into ways that I can understand. So for example, once it's done, I'll be like, explain like I'm 5. Like I'm 5. And this is a really cool thing with ChatGPT, is the fact, or just any large language models that we have right now, whether it's going to be Claude or it's going to be Gemini, is the fact that we can ask it questions in a way that we can understand, specifically you can understand. So you can tailor make these questions or these answers in a way that will be easier for you to understand. Okay, so this is explanation of the theory of relativity like I'm 5, which is really cool. So this is something that you can continue doing, continue tinkering with it until it gets to the point where the explanation kind of like makes sense to you or makes sense to someone that you want to teach. So this is really, really helpful in the sense that it can break down very complex ideas into very simple terms. So that's the knowledge-based questions, and something that I should always state, remember that there is a cutoff point. So if there's any discovery that has been made, for example, in 2025, ChatGPT will not have that information because the cutoff point currently is June of 2024. Speaking from, we're currently in March. So just always have that in mind. So the next question that ChatGPT can be helpful in answering is internet search questions. So this is essential for up-to-date information, recent events, or current prices. So this is kind of like how to search the web. So we're going to go to who won the last World Cup. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to come to new chart here at the top left, click on that, and then enter that, who won the last World Cup, enter. So you can see here, as of March 2025, the most recent World Cup was held in 2022, where Argentina emerged victorious, defeating France in the finale. Another really cool example is what's the weather forecast for tomorrow? Let's see if it's going to work without searching the web. What's the weather forecast for tomorrow? Searching the web. Nairobi, Kenya. It knows exactly where I am. So for tomorrow, Saturday, March 15th, 2025, Nairobi is going to be expected to be clear. Approximately, that's, wow. Okay, 30 degrees Celsius and a low of 17 degrees. So that's really good. Let me see if we're going to get anything different if we actually have such the web button there. Yeah, so it's more or less the same thing. So this is where ChatGPT can be used the same as Google, and it's going to take over from Google, I think. But yeah, it's really good because the sense. So for example, if you're looking for, find the latest research on, let's say, AI, or like what are the symptoms of a certain illness, or what are the new episodes of White Lotus season 3 coming out, when are the new episodes of White Lotus season 3 coming out. So you can, these are like things that are up to date. So let me copy that. I'm actually watching the White Lotus. Copy that, come paste it here. When the next episode of the White Lotus season 3 coming out? So February 16, 2025, HBO Max. As of today, March 14th, the upcoming episode is scheduled for Sunday, March 16th. So this is really cool. And the good thing that I like about ChatGPT and something like, for example, Perplexity, is the fact that it gives you sources of where it got that information from. So you can always kind of like double check. So the next type of question that we're going to go through is Python interpreter and data analysis. So this is where ChatGPT can be used to interpret code or to even produce code or handle very complex math. So I'm going to have it multiply 12,345 multiplied by 67,890. So I'm going to paste that. So this is just kind of like use it as a calculator basically, and it's going to come up with the result, which is 838,102,050. So that's a very good example. And now we can have it write a code. So I'm going to ask it, give me a code in Python for a snake game. So here is the code. Actually, in about 6 months, give or take, the CEO of Anthropic, which is a very big AI, kind of like ChatGPT, but now Claude, he is guessing that in about 6 months, 90% of the code that's going to be written is going to be written by AI. So that's a really good thing for most people, because learning to code is really hard, for me especially. So I feel like this is going to be a game changer, in the sense that most people now will be able to build their own games, or be able to code at least. And so this is a code for snake game. I'm using Python for this one, so I don't know if I can ask it to run it. No, it can't run the code, but it can create code. Oh, here it is. Run. Actually, yeah, it can. It is there. Run. So when you click on run, top right there. So let's see. This is actually going to be very interesting. Running code. Okay, so it doesn't seem to be running here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that code. I'm going to come to live with, paste it there. And then I'm just going to click on run. So once I click on run, you can see that it is giving me an error. So I'm just going to copy that error, come back to ChatGPT, paste the error there. So that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep on like going back and forth until it works. So let me see if we can do that. So let me just get it in terms of HTML. Give it to me in HTML, and I'm doing this so that it will be able to run on my browser. So it's going to change the code. Oh, it's updating it. So copy that, come back to LiveWave. So you can see that now it is playing here at the very bottom, but it's too fast. I don't know if you can see that it's too fast. So I'm going to tell ChatGPT that it's too fast, and then click enter. So it's going to go through every single line of code, see where the problem might be, and then adjust it. And this is now how coding is going to be from now onwards. It will be you talking with the computer, talking with the large language model, coming up with your own ideas. And then, so for example, here it slowed it down. So I'm going to copy that and then come back to LiveWave, copy those, paste it there. And then like this, now it's slightly better. So as I am moving the arrow keys, it's not really moving it. So I'm going to come back and say the arrow keys are not moving. I'm not moving it. I'm moving the snake. So again, it's going to go through every single line of code, make the necessary changes, and then come back with refined code. So I fix the issue, copy the code again, come back to LiveWave. Coding is basically you always just kind of like changing. So it's still not working. Yeah, so it's going to take a very long time. So basically it's going to be me kind of like iterating, coming up with different versions. So still not working. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to turn on reasoning, and then we're going to see if it's going to change. So let's go through this code. So I've turned on reasoning now, and what this does, it's going to give ChatGPT a longer time to go through the code and come up with a better answer. So let's see. Does it have any issues? So this is the power of ChatGPT's reasoning model. So we've already seen how ChatGPT can help you write code, how it can act as your calculator, and now in our last video we already went through how it can help you analyze different CSV files, files, and also how it can help you with spreadsheets, especially if it's like a very big spreadsheet and you want to analyze. It can help you with that. And now we are going to go to our next category, which is going to be creative questions. This is by far one of the most used tasks that ChatGPT is used for. So this is basically coming up with stories, scripts, poems, emails, cover letters. I'm sure you've already seen this. So we're just going to cover a very short one. So for example, here I have a couple of example prompts. So for example, write a short story about a cat who travels to space. So this is something you can just copy and then come to ChatGPT, paste it there, and then click enter. So here we have like a short story, and then we have Captain Whiskers and the Cosmic Adventure. So it's going to give a very short story and a very good one, actually. Dare I say, Captain Whiskers was an ordinary cat. He was a highly trained felon astronaut, handpicked by the finest scientists at the Felon Aeronautics and Space Administration. Wow. So this is like a play on NASA and it's FASA. So yeah, so that's really good. It's like a very short story. It's almost 300 words, give or take. Yeah, so ChatGPT, so I can ask it to turn this into a poem. Turn this into a poem. Shakespearean poem, actually. Shakespearean poem. Shakespearean, there we are. And then click enter. Yeah, and it's going to be good. Hack this to the, so this is the English that none of us can really fully understand. Oh yeah, so again, you can keep on doing this. It can come up even with a song if you want to. Kind of like just your imagination is a limit when it comes to this. So on a more professional note, it can also be used to come up with a professionally written email or a marketing slogan, a marketing campaign for your business or for your job. And it really is very incredibly creative, and it's really up to you. So that's just something to always keep in mind. And that's the other set of questions, is the fact that now you can use ChatGPT for creative writing. The next part is that ChatGPT can also be used to analyze images. In our last video, we went through how it can be used to analyze screenshots of, let's say, errors that you're getting with your code or errors that you're getting on your computer. You can paste it there. If you have any issues, for example, if you have like a screen rush, like what we were talking about in last video, you can paste it there and ChatGPT can help you like decipher what that is. So for example, here I can explain this meme. So for example, here we have by far one of the most famous memes that we have ever come up with as a society. So this is a guy looking at a girl that he wants, and the girl who is with him looking like, what are you doing? So here we have the distracted boyfriend meme, which was generated from a stock photo taken by a photographer, Antonio. Wow, it actually even gives you the photographer's name. So the image features a young man walking with his presumed girlfriend while turning his head to check out another one passing by. His girlfriend looks shocked and disapproving of his behavior. So meme meaning and usage. The meme is commonly used to represent someone being tempted or distracted by something new or appealing, despite already having something that they're supposed to be committed to, which is true actually. This is very good. So it can be used to tech upgrades, pop culture references, work productivity. This is really cool. So ChatGPT again can be used to analyze images. Another one we have is this one. So I'm going to ask it, what type of plant is this? So what type of plant is shown in this image? I'm going to copy paste that. Oh, this is so good. Yeah, actually, this is good. I have seen these plants when I've gone hiking. So this is actually really good. Wow. Oh, this is good. So if you have an image that you really kind of like want to analyze, want to see what is in that image, or you really do not understand, you can paste it to ChatGPT and can analyze that image for you. So another really cool use case of ChatGPT that I haven't seen a lot, but I haven't really seen a lot of people saying this. So for example, I'm going to take a screenshot of what we have just gotten in our last prompt. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to come paste it here, and then I'm going to ask ChatGPT to extract the text from that image. So extract the text from this image, and then I'm going to paste it there. So it's going to go through that text, and then it's going to extract the text from that image, and here it is. This is basically what we just had in our last prompt. So that's a really useful case scenario that I haven't seen a lot, but I've been using it. I think it's really useful. Here it is. So it's in between these two lines is where the text is. Okay, kind of awesome actually. So the next part is how we can use ChatGPT for planning and organization. So for example, this is good for creating plans, schedules, lists, and also getting suggestions. So for example, we have suggest meal ideas based on these ingredients. I'm going to copy that prompt. So for example, here we have chicken, broccoli, and rice. Our other examples: create a 7-day workout plan for a beginner. Help me plan for a trip to, let's say, London or South America, and then make a list of pros and cons for getting a MacBook over an Android or getting an iPhone over an Android. And then I'm trying to learn guitar. Can you create a study plan for me? Okay, so create a 7-day work plan for a beginner. So for example, we're going to copy that prompt, come back to ChatGPT, paste it there. So you can give it your age. So for example, here, after it's come up with that, I can say I am 50 years old. I'm 50 years old, female, with back issues, let's say. Sorry for every 50-year-old female back issues. Okay, so now it's going to tell her the workout plan for a specific 50-year-old with back issues. So here it is. So it's like be gentle, no back, cardio and core, which is really good. So this is something that you can keep on doing, and then it's just going to give you answers that are tailor-made for you. Okay, so for my general advice will be try different questions and different phrasing of questions. Really play around with it. Make sure that you're at least using it once every day. Use it for most of the things that you really don't understand, things that have some knowledge based or need an expertise opinion on that. So try that out. The more you use these AI models, the better you're going to become at them, and the easier it's going to become for you. They're really easy to use. I highly recommend that you play around with them, get an idea on how they work, and it's just going to be easier the more you talk to ChatGPT, the more you interact with it. It's going to become easier to use, and now that kind of like gives you a window or a door into now opening up like new possibilities with other AI models. For example, we have Claude, which is a very good reasoning model that can be used for coding, and we also have Perplexity AI, which is another really good reasoning model that can be used for Google search, for example. So there are very many different AI models for very specific things, and the more you use them, the better you're going to become. So the only trick here is just for you to continuously use them on a daily basis. So that's it for this video, and I hope that you've gotten at least an idea on the type of questions that you can use ChatGPT for, that is. And we are going to continue with this series. The main goal is that you become an expert in ChatGPT, an expert in AI by the end of this series. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.